Hello, everybody. We are now together with Mr. Alexander Rubel, the head of the German Cultural Center in Iași, and the two artists that represented Iași, Dawid Liftinger from Austria and Köln, Germany, and Florin Lăzărescu from Iași. Mr. Rubel, please tell us about how we got here, how this initiative of digital residencies came up, and how were the artists selected?
Yeah, this is the point with which I wanted to start my very short introductory note, because we want to hear the artists first of all. The idea was, in fact, this project had been born out of the blue, or out of need indeed, because as you all know, we live in hard times, and we wanted to do something for the arts. We wanted to do something for our public. We wanted to do something for modern art, and thought about in our team, which means all cultural centers in the Goethe Institute in Bucharest, in all cultural centers in Romania. And we wanted to mark these very strange times with a project in arts. And we thought about bringing together artists from Romania with artists from Germany, or the, let's say, the German-speaking countries. And this was our call to have this virtual residency program, Colaboratory, called after some heavy brainstormings. And the result for Iași is here today. And I'm also happy to have you, George Pleshu, as our partner with your gallery. And you will certainly tell us a few words about your concept and how your concept of arts in Iași matches with our two artists from Romania and Germany. Just to present our two artists, they had been selected in a very, let's say, very deliberative way, as we started with the idea that one of the artists should be a more or less visual artist, and the other one should have to do more with words. This was the idea, to put two artists together to have different spheres to connect. And so we, here in Iași, we found our old friend Florin Lăzărescu, who is a writer. Now, as he probably has also 2 or 3 gray hairs, he's now also a famous writer, because he has also his novels translated in different languages. At least one I know is one language I know where he has a translation. Unfortunately, I didn't see anything in German yet on the German market. But
I have 2 novels translated in German.
Yeah. And we had this wonderful file from Dawid Liftinger, and we had immediately this match, as George Pleshu can tell us who was our counselor in this case, because he's I'm just running a small cultural center, and in fact, in the end, I'm just a stupid villain. But George is the man of arts who knows, who is really good and has to tell something. And so this project came to being. And perhaps, George, you will present now your questions to our invitees, Florin and Dawid. I hope they didn't struggle too much, and well, they were in distant positions. They couldn't beat each other up during the process of finding what to do. So they had to deal with communication via internet. But I would be also interested in knowing how they managed to get along together. But George, now the floor is yours. We are happy on behalf of the German Cultural Center here to see now finally also with physical presence of real people tonight. I hope so, at least. We'll see the vernissage of this really impressive, as I saw from the pictures, impressive piece of art created by Florin and Dawid. Yes, please.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Rubel. Indeed, I was about to ask the artist about the process. First of all, I want to, if you if you allow me to come up with one secret that we have when we saw the portfolios of the artists who applied for this residency from the German part. I immediately noticed the portfolio of David's portfolio, and I told you and Madalina that it would be very good for us if we succeed in let's say reserving this artist for Iași, because in my opinion he was the most interesting, and also his practice, his interdisciplinary practice, and his interest also in the technical part would have, in my opinion, and actually in our opinion, be let's say a plus for the relationship with for the artistic relationship with the artist that we were going to select. And we were lucky, and David stayed on our side. And from the Romanian point of view, indeed, Florin's CV and portfolio were the most impressive, and he was a natural match. Yeah, basically the selection was not that hard. I think the harder part, but I would ask the artist about that, was how they came up with the idea, and how easy or difficult it was for a visual artist to work with a writer. So I will first I will ask our guest from overseas, Dawid. Dawid, you work with light and sound, and of course technology and different contemporary art concepts. How was it for you to work with a writer? Was it the first time you worked with a writer, or?
Yeah, well, first of all, thank you for this opportunity to do this project. It was really exciting and very interesting. And thank you for those kind words. And I'm very, very happy that finally there's this opening coming up tonight, and that it is in a physical space, because for me, a physical space is very important, and physical bodies as well. So it's great that finally real humans are able to walk through the installation and be, as it is, projected. It's great to have people inside of the installation and the words projected onto their bodies, the text from Florin. It was the first time for me to work with a writer, and it was a great opportunity for me, actually, since I really do struggle with words. It's really tough for me to express myself with words. I don't know, I'm just not built that way, you know? So being able to collaborate with Florin and get to know him and his body of work, and use, in a way, or collaborate with his words to create an experience for an audience, was really a great opportunity. Since I did work with words before, yes, but it was never my words. I always used words from other people. So this time to use words from a real proper writer was a great chance.
So can you tell us maybe some insights from this process? How were the steps? How the idea? how the concept came out. Who suggested the structure? I think that maybe you came up with the technical idea, but I'm just assuming now. Can you give us more insights?
Well, I'm talking about the process. I mean, it was really good way of, well, talking about the process. What we did in the beginning, and Florin, you can always jump in. We were really open. We were really free. So it was a blank slate in the beginning, and we were talking about AI. We were coming up with all these crazy ideas to go this direction, to go that direction, to just be wild. And we had something like once a week, we had meetings, and we're sort of, you know, we got to know each other. We were talking, we had conversations. We were talking about, as you say in German, Gott und die Welt. We were talking about God and the world, just anything, you know, just life itself. So it was sort of a going back and forth. And at some point, Florin was sending me some of his texts because, as he mentioned before, 2 of his books already have been translated to German. So I was really curious about more of his texts and maybe about something what he's working on right now. And then he was very kindly and offered me to share one of his current texts with me. And I read it and I was like, okay, this text is so good, you know, like we should, if we can, if Florin would be up to it, it would be great to use this text and build some installation out of it. And for me, since Florin is also doing scripts for movies, and I consider myself as a sort of as an expanded cinema artist. So I sort of started off as an experimental film artist, and then I realized, hey, I want to get off the screen, of the 2D screen, and I want to put it in the 3D space. And I think this is where me and Florin, at the end, we met. He's a scriptwriter. I want to do expanded cinema. It would fit to have sort of a subtitle project in a way, to have his text be shown in a flowing form inside of the 3-dimensional space. And we got back and forth, I guess. I was sending some sketches. We were talking about it. What can we do with the text? Can we change a little bit? I don't know. So I was showing some sketches and he was sort of giving his comments, and then we tried to find the end form.
Florin, as Dawid was saying, you have done some interdisciplinary work, most notably in film. How was to work with a visual artist? Was it the first time for you, or?
I had an experience with an Austrian artist, Joseph Trattner. We carried the sofa through the city, and I was some kind of a guide. It was very nice and very weird at the same time, because I was very ashamed at the beginning, trying to imagine that 2 artists are carrying a sofa in the middle of the city and stop from time to time and talk about Iași, and people moving around and looking like being crazy people to us. And we traveled all over the city, and we finished our destination on Bucium Hill, on the hill over the city. It was nice, but it was very natural to talk to Dawid. I felt like in 10 minutes that we know each other from a lifetime. Although we haven't met physically, we never met. So we talked a lot. We had a lot of ideas, a lot of good ideas that was to be done, I think, that we left aside. Even funny ideas. I remember right now that one of the idea is to create an app that prays for you. I mean, it prays for you, because we talked about the religious part of Romania, the people that are doing a cross over here, and he was interested about this. And we talked about an application on a phone app that prays for you, because we're too bored to do this. Let's create an app to do it. And we had plenty of funny ideas, interesting ideas, but from the moment that he read a certain this text that we use, he said, I want to work. I mean, in that moment, he decided that I want to work with this text, and it's a great thing and a great opportunity to this cross of arts. It always leads to good things, and it was interesting for me, or it was also interesting for me to hear about what he does, how he thinks, what he's doing, what he thinks about art. So all in all, I expect it to be a great experience, and it proved to be a great experience.
Thank you, Florin. Dawid, coming back to you, tell us, yeah, indeed, about what you do, because of course, people who will who are coming tonight to the opening will see this installation, but your portfolio is, let's say, full with different other type of project. Can you tell us a bit about your practice and how you adapted your practice to fit with this collaboration and working with words mainly?
Yeah, I think so when talking about my own practice, what I often do, I'm curious about a certain technical object, for example, a projector, like a regular office projector, or now currently I'm working with the technical object, which is a 35mm projector. So always related to projection or to, again, cinema, expanded cinema. And I sort of look at the object and try to figure out how does it work. There's some interesting aspects about it, and I do research about it, and then I take this object and sort of hack it or turn it around and create another, light video installation out of it. This time, obviously, it was different since with a collaboration, obviously, you have completely different inputs. And this time for me, in a way, I was, once I read the text and I felt very, I felt this text is really great and really good, and it would be a pity not to work with this text. I sort of took the text and tried to sort of add my interpretation to the text. How can I maybe show this emotion I have while reading it? This text, and Florin can talk a bit about the text, I'm sure. For me, it was like this life which is sort of passing by, and it's not gonna stop. And there's these events happening during the lifetime, but it's just, you know, it's just sort of flowing, it's just passing by. And as I mentioned before, this idea that the audience should walk through the space and should have the words from Florin projected onto themselves and see other people having those words, those texts projected onto them. Since the text is about life, it's about people, it's very intimate. It's these moments that everybody has in their life, which are quite, it's a unique kind of moment. And again, I think Florin can speak more to it. And I wanted to sort of take the text and add my ideas onto it and use it to create this installation.
The installation also, let's say, speaks to the senses, because it creates a sort of a slight dizziness. It depends also on each person, but for me, it's pretty hard to stay too long in that room, because the effect that the light is giving to the inner ear can create a sort of dizziness. That's what I felt. Was this effect sought on? I mean, did you think about it? Was it intended, or it was just like a side effect? Or
no, this is another part of my artistic practice, is perception. again, I like the three-dimensional space. I like people to be inside of the space, and I like to play with their senses. And this is great that you mentioned it. This is another aspect, I think, which fits really well to the text in a way, or sort of amplifies it or adds something, I hope, to the text. Yes, you will feel a distance. You will feel the space moving. It feels like an elevator which you cannot stop, even though it's a completely stationary space, but it feels like it's moving. And again, this is so important for me that people can see it in real, because you cannot show this this effect. You cannot show it to people on a video. And that's one of the things I really dislike about the pandemic. Of course, the health tragedy is horrible. For me personally, for my artistic practice, I hate staring at screens all day long. I need the three-dimensional space, and this only with this piece as well. This piece only works, I think, in person.
Yeah, you're right, and the people who will see it in person will understand exactly what you're saying. But speaking about staring, one let's say critique that comes out often when talking about contemporary art is that people, in order to understand the work of art, they need to read. They need to read the statement. They need to read what the curator said about it. They need to read the label. In this case, we're talking about a work of art based on, in which a big part of it is a big chunk of text. Florin, do you think that people would be able to fully understand the work just by experiencing it without reading what you wrote there? What do you think?
People, we are 7 million billions of people. I mean, we are so different. It depends on the people. I think the people that are coming to your art space will surely understand. And even more easier than some other installation, because you have to deal with words, and it's somehow self-explanatory. I mean, you understand it. Because we talk about those moments in life that everybody have, that when you realize that the life won't be the same again. I don't know, the first tooth that you lose, everybody has moments like this. And you think that now I'm mortal. The moment, and Dawid told me that he loved this moment, that the moment that you realize that you cannot be a musketeer in your childhood. I mean, you prepare for this, you really believe that you'll become a musketeer in one day, but you have that moment when you grow up and you realize that I'll never be a football player or something. And I think that everybody could relate with these kind of moments that are projected on the walls.
But the text is important. The text is important.
It's easier because we have this kind of text. But anyway, if let's say the text is in Romanian, but let's say it will be German, the physical experience with this kind of text will have a meaning even without understanding any word if you don't know the language. And I'm looking forward to see it for myself, because from the moment when Dawid sent me a video project, I imagined this, and from your photos, it looks even more spectacular than I imagined.
Wait till you experience the space. You'll understand that it's
even and perhaps we have the opportunity in the future to work together again, because also George Plesher and myself, we are so fond of this project and of the artists we invited, that we are thinking of a real project, let's say a real life project, perhaps in the future, when all this nasty pandemics is over and it seems that there is a light at the end of the tunnel. So prepare for for, let's say, future projects, Dawid in Iași. Romania is a very beautiful country, and Iași is a very beautiful town. So you're most welcome to visit us and to present the next project personally at an opening we are organizing, perhaps with the help of Georgia. As our time elapsed, I thank you so much for all of you for participating in, and the role of George Pleshu is not to be underestimated, as he's one of the important pillars of, let's say, of modern views and modern art in Iași, which is not, let's say, not as usual in this part of Europe, and not as usual in Iași as it should be, probably, and as it is in other places in Europe. So we are very happy to have you all in this project, and we are looking forward for seeing us personally one day. With two of you I meet tonight in the gallery. Dawid Liftinger, in the near future, perhaps we have the possibility to meet again. So thank you so much for being with us, and enjoy virtually and personally, partly personally, the opening tonight. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I am honored to host this exhibition, and maybe Mr. Rubel would tell us now at the end that this exhibition has been traveling to some cities, and
yes.
Also going to other cities. And I'm really happy and honored to be able to show to the public in Iași the.
Well, the point that you mentioned this is a little bit tricky thing, because I was kind of upset when I heard that all my colleagues wanted to have these the results of your work before showing it to the public in Iași. So indeed, if you want to say it like that, we had already the video presentation of this work in several different towns, and also I think one real live presentation. And as I told you, I'm not so happy about that. Well, in a way, I'm happy, because all of our colleagues from the network, from the German Cultural Center, said, "Oh, we want to have this project. Give it to us immediately, now." And certainly this means that this piece of art is extraordinary. But we are, as often, Georgia, as often in Romania, in the world, Iași is the last, but perhaps not the least. Okay, thank you so much, and take care. Bleiben Sie gesund, as we say in German, and keep safe. Goodbye.